Xiaomi makes the better smartwatches for me, and I know that's a bold statement, but often they don't vie for crazy specs with a lot of features. I simply don't use a smartwatch like that, relying on the watch itself to, for instance, reply to messages. This Xiaomi Watch S4 doesn't change that. It still does that, but in return I get a watch that I don't need to pay a lot of attention to when it comes to battery life, lasting me about 2 weeks without any issue. And that actually makes me want to use it. But of course, with this new release of this Xiaomi Watch S4, how is it? Starting with the unboxing, it's really simple. You will find the watch on top with the provided band for it, and of course the ring around the camera as well. We'll get to that why I'm saying that. Below that you will find your manual and your charging system. Though I will say I'm not a huge fan the way that smartwatches charge. But with that being said, I don't see any other possibility because this one also lacks wireless charging. It's not a feature on this watch, which really is a useful addition to allow you to charge it even if you lost the charging part. Now, specs wise, we are dealing with a 1.43 inch AMOLED display with a claimed peak brightness of 2200 nits and up to 15 days of claimed battery life with its 486 mAh battery inside. Bluetooth 5.3 support, fall detection in skiing mode, health tracking via for instance your heart rate and oxygen levels, L1 plus L5 dual band GNSS, accelerometer sensor, gyroscope, ambient light sensor, electronic compass and a Hall sensor. Feature wise, you can change the crowns on the front, with each having its unique style that you can change. This of course was introduced with the S-Watch 3. And for those who are wondering, yes, the S3 watch crowns also work on the S4, and it also gives you those style options that comes with the ring itself. And the same counts for the watch bands. The S3 also works on the S4. And from the back, honestly, there's hardly any difference between the two. That being said, my favorite band is this one. It looks styleful and it feels really secure as well. And it doesn't feel like it's annoying around my wrist. I hardly feel it. I really like this band, but we shall see how it comes in the summer, because of course when it gets hotter, material like this doesn't really have much breathing space, so I wonder if it will be very sweaty when it comes down to that. And I will say, if you want to change the band itself, yeah, it's still finicky. Now often when it comes to these short reviews of smartwatches, I get questions about different apps. Now unlike the S-Watch 3, I don't see any support for Alexa, and no, these watches don't allow you to install different apps. It does however seemingly allow you to use Xiaomi Pay, but I don't have it because I don't have a credit card myself, so I cannot add it, and therefore I cannot 100% confirm from my own experience whether this works or not. In reality, these kind of smartwatches from Xiaomi are pretty basic. Yes, they do have the high-end watches in between as well, but when it comes to these kinds of watches, it's the bare bones. It's more like a sport watch, but it does come with some class. And for me, features that are on it are more than enough. For instance, having a camera control on there for instance, if you want to take a shot of yourself, or some other basic things that I want on my watch, like music control. So I can easily directly control it via the watch itself. Apart from that, it's not going to compete with something like what Apple produces, or of course Google as well. It isn't meant for that, but in turn, it does look really styleful, and I think this watch overall is really solid. It just depends on what your needs are, whether this is something that you should buy or not.